right, the 2022 schedule is out, and the rough outline for the stories of all the teams' tales in this season have been laid out, but we don't know how it's going to play out, but we got the rough outline. And with the Dolphins, their plot that's been laid out is bookends of revelation and challenge. Challenge brings out clarity. You know, part of me is the kind of guy that hopes the opposing quarterback falls down in the shower and breaks his leg before the big game just so we win. Then another side of me wants the toughest schedule and the hardest teams and no breaks. So as my team wins, I gain confidence. I really believe they're going to do it. And when they win it, I can hold up and say, look how they didn't skate. Look how hard this schedule was. So when I was going over the schedule, I was doing editing on Jimmy Bourbon's article over at Phins News. I edit, do my best. It really started popping out to me that there is two bookends of challenge for this Dolphins team. Now, there's a bunch of teams in the middle, but 2 games against the Jets, 1 Texans, Bears, Lions. Jets we have the last game of the season against the Jets, but in between play once, but total 2 games against the Jets. And then you got Vikings and Steelers. 5 of those games are wins we should definitely get. 2 games against the Jets, Texans, Bears, and Lions. Anything can happen, but given what we've put together here, we should win those. I expect to win those. We should win those. There's no excuses if we don't win those. Vikings at home, tough team, Cousins. I think gets less credit than he deserves. I think he's a tougher team than many people think, but we're home. We should beat them. Steelers going to have Flores, Fitzpatrick, Watt, Najee Harris. But, quarterback situations in flux. We should have that one. So that's really 7 wins that we should have. 2 we pretty much should have. So you figure you only need 3 more wins after that to get to 10. 10, 11 is the key to get to the playoffs. And that's what it's about. This season has to be about making the playoffs and at least second in the division. So you figure, you might not get all 7. Maybe one something happens or whatever. So you get 6 out of 6 and 1. So you got to win 3 or 4 of the next 10 of these 10. 4 tough ones. And then from week 10 to week 17, you got 6 tough ones. Each of these games is going to tell us a lot. To me, the first part, we're going to learn more if we win there than if we lose. We lose, even if McDaniel's a genius, he's going to make mistakes. He's going to have to put this thing together. There's going to be bumps. And he's going against 4 quality teams with 4 very good coaches. So if he loses, I can kind of understand. It's going to make the road much harder. Every loss he gets early on is going to make the road much harder. But I can understand him. But if he wins, if this team wins, it's a big feather in the cap. Week 1 against Bill and the Patriots, we have a more talented team. We're home. They're going to be frying in the heat. But Bill is a tough head coach. A lot of advantage for a rookie versus one of the greatest of all time. We should get that one. Flores was able to get those wins. We want to keep the Patriots in the back seat. If we don't, I kind of understand it. But we really need that. That would be a good win for us. Then week 2, you go away to the Ravens and Harbaugh and Jackson. We beat them last year in that brilliant plan by Flores, but they're not gonna catch them with the drawers down again. They've been beating us for years. They're probably gonna beat us away. They're not gonna be as beat up as they were last year. Jackson was beat up. The offensive line was beat up. We can take that win. If we can win in Baltimore, that's gonna say volumes to me because we've been beat up by them almost all the time for years, for a decade now, since the playoffs in 2011. If we can win there, it says a lot. If we lose, come on, but we can win there. But then this is the one where I'm going to put a lot of credibility on the line. Going to have some green of that knocked off by the staff. You're at home against the Bills. You got to show like you closed the gap. You're not just second place, second fiddle, fighting with the Patriots. You're actually making a challenge. Plus, if you want to make that playoffs, you don't want to have that week week 15 game against the Bills in Buffalo to be a critical game. So you got to make this one at least ultra close or take it. This is the one where I think fans should get a little nervous if we got the doors blown off, because this could compromise our playoff expectations and our desire to actually get to first place in our division. But I could see if we don't, but it's going to be very tough. And then you start getting into the propaganda aspects. Then you get into the short week, and you go to Cincinnati in week 4 against Joe Burrow. That's going to be a tough game. And it's going to be comparisons. They're going to start doing the Tua talk, especially if we're not winning a lot of games early. Is Tua good enough? And whether he's good enough or not, that's not the point. The point is that if you're a Dolphin fan, you want the Dolphins to win, and the media is only your friend as long as it suits them. And if the story goes that they can sell papers by cutting down a person they were just smiling at and shaking a hand, they will. And it puts pressure on teams to win. So, to me, even if Tua isn't the greatest thing since sliced bread, I don't want any kind of negative media just trying to, overtly negative media trying to derail the season, because that's going to compromise my team. So, this is going to be a very tough game, and the comparison is going to be there. To me, Joe Burrow's a better quarterback. I mean, can he stay healthy? The Bengals are going to keep throwing until he gets knocked out. But Burrow's a better quarterback. That shouldn't even be a concern. To me, it's not whether Tua is as good as Burrow is Tua good enough to win. But that comparison is going to be out there. There's going to be a couple of these games, and it's going to keep ratcheting it up as the season progresses. So winning these games is going to be important for the playoff push. It's going to help the propaganda war, and sometimes those cross over. So then you got a bunch of games. You got the Vikings game in there and the Steelers game in between. And then you get the Browns at home, and Watson versus Tua. And I don't think that's the case, Watson's more talented. There's just no way Tua could be as talented as Watson. But Watson's more talented than Breeze. Breeze got a Super Bowl. To me, it's going to be the talk. The owner wanted Burrow, and you lost to Burrow, and then the owner wanted Watson, and you lost to... We're home. Watson's got the best offensive line he's ever had. Unbelievable offensive line. Pretty good defense. He's got Chubb and Hunt. Tua's got to play well. And winning this game will get a big monkey off our backs as far as the media goes. Again, it's not whether Watson would be better or Tua would be better. It's about the Dolphins winning right now. And negative media will harp on it. They'll be asking the coach week in and week out, is he the quarterback of the future? Even if he isn't, I don't even want to hear about that, because I just want to win. So this is going to be a big game. It's going to be a big game because the Browns are going to be fighting for the playoffs. And as Jimmy Bourbon's article, I was really astute. I really thought about that. He said winning AFC game matchups for the Dolphins are going to be almost as important as winning AFC East games, because this is an ultra-competitive conference, probably the most competitive conference on paper that I've ever seen in my life. So this is going to be a big game for many, many reasons. Then you go into your bye, you play the Texans. That's a must-win. And then you go, this last portion from week 13 to 17 is where, I still believe 2023 is essential for the evaluation if certain levels are attained, making the playoffs, second in division. If those are attained and, not much more, 2023 is when we evaluate. But these games right here are going to say, did Greer build a team right? Is McDaniel and the staff as good as being projected? Is Tua is good? Is this team is good? Are they really headed in the direction that so many of us are hoping for? These are the games where the truth will be told. First couple of games, so much new stuff's come together. You got to put a little bit of mulligan over that, and then just hope we get a bunch of wins. But this right here is where Fin fans should start really getting a firm evaluation. You got San Fran. You go to San Fran. Flores figured ways to beat out Bill Belichick at home or away. McDaniel's got to do the same thing. We beat San Fran a couple years ago. They were beat up, but they're really based off the run game. And they're going to either have Jimmy G or they're going to have Lance, who's a rookie. This is a win. This has got to be, you got to kick off this last 5-game stretch with a win here. If not, it's going to get sticky because it's big games, tough games coming up. Then you got to go right after that game, you go away to the Chargers. And you know, again, you're going to have comparisons. Again, it's not, I don't care. We didn't draft Herbert. Maybe we should have. Maybe we shouldn't have. I don't know, whatever. Tua's our guy. I just want him good enough to win. I don't care if he's like Jimmy G and he's okay and we get to the Super Bowl. We can't go back to the past. But the comparison's going to be there. And this is going to be such a hard game. I don't think that even if Tua was as good as Herbert, they could pull this one out. You're going away after a tough game on the road in San Fran, going back across to the other side of the country. And you got Bosa, Mack, Slater, and the rest of the offensive line. Herbert, good wide receivers. This is going to be a very, very, very tough game. And then after that, you come back home and you're on the road again up in Buffalo. This is why that first game, I can see we not picking it up, but if we don't, it's going to just make this. I mean, you know, you got what a slate. You're away to San Fran, away to the Chargers, and away to the Bills. But if they're pulling these wins out, man, whatever little hair I got left, I want to tear out in celebration because this is going to say unbelievable stuff about this team. And they're going to have to do it. They're going to have to. Because then you got Packers at home, which they're a good team, but we're home. And then you're gonna, then you have the same talk. Tua went against Burrow, Tua went Watson, Tua went against Herbert. Now he's going against Rodgers. You need an elite quarterback to win. Elite quarterbacks make life a lot easier. But it's not always the case. It's not always the case. And we don't have any options other than what we have right now. And then the talk is going to be going into the end of the season. Is Tua the guy, whatever, blah, blah, blah. We got to get this one. I could see us dropping the Chargers, but we got to take San Fran. I could see us dropping the Chargers, hopefully in a close one. And we got to take the Packers. And then it all lines up almost perfectly. You know, the Bills, you got the Chargers. I can see us losing the Bills. Forgot about that. San Fran, we should win. Chargers, we're probably going to lose. We're probably going to lose to the Bills at home. Then you got to win against the Packers. Splitting. And then you go to the Pats. This is the game that we're going to know what we got. I really think this Week 17 matchup is going to determine our playoffs or not. It's going to determine whether we're going to be second in the division or not. A lot of people aren't high on the Patriots, but I think they're going to be scrappier than people think. They had a rookie quarterback last year, and they got 10 wins and the playoffs. This Week 17 game is going to tell us a lot. Now, we could go into that game with 14 wins at that point or something. Who knows? It's not a big deal. I mean, if that's the case, then, you should start carving McDaniel's face a bust on for the Hall of Fame. I mean, really, if McDaniel can get into Week 17 with like 10, 11, 12, 13, or 14 or something like that, 11 to 13 wins or 14 wins or whatever, I mean, if he goes into that with like 2 or 3 losses, my mind will be utterly blown. I think Phins fans should be utterly excited. I think it's more likely we're going to have 9 or 10 wins at that point. And that's going to be the big one, the 10th or the 11th. And it's going to be critical for us to get that win. It's going to be beautiful if we get it. It's going to be very disappointing if we don't. You get the Jets in Week 18, that should be a win. So, as I go over it, that's the way I'm seeing it. I'm seeing it laid out. We're going to get, Tua's going to be hailed or people can be screaming for him to get out of town. McDaniel is going to be hailed. Be like, well, the Dolphins going to be hailed, or people are going to be like, oh, I don't know. And this is the problem, and this is the great part about it. We're going to get a clear. We're not going to have to wait 2 or 3 years to find out, because all these other teams, they're set up too, and we're going to know our pecking order. We're going to kind of know what's going on. Can Boyer replace Flores? Is McDaniel really the genius he's been billed? Did we invest all this money and in this team, and can they at least get second in division and get into the playoffs? I mean, yeah, we got all those picks next year, but this is going to be such big football, man. And again, there's so many other big games that just even for a Fin fan, and this story is going to be epic. Hopefully, we get to celebrate. Hopefully, we get to say we're on our way. Still think 2023 is where we'll really get a final evaluation, but we have to get second in division, and we've got to make the playoffs. Anyway, as Kurt is saying, thanks for staying to the end. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Comments mean the most. Subscribes, likes, comments, views, they're all so big. I really appreciate it. Get ready, Fin fans. Big football season coming. Huge Dolphin season coming. Kurt saying, catch you next time. Be well. See you soon.